Hi, I'm Don from DonDronesOn. Version 2.3 of the Drone Pilot Canada app offers increased flexibility for managing checklists and procedures, including creating your own checklists, importing checklists from external files, renaming your checklists, and much, much more. Let's check it out. First, a quick recap on how to use checklists. When you start a new flight, your checklists and procedures are available on the New Flight screen. Simply tap the applicable checklist, tick the items as you perform them, and continue. If you want to keep a record of your checklist activity with your flight log, tick the Save Checklists with Flight Log button at the top of the list. Note that this is optional, and retaining your checklist activity is not a Transport Canada requirement. When you start your flight and the flight time counter is running, you can also access your checklists to either update ones you've used before or to access additional checklists. Same thing when you have finished your flight and are recording any flight notes. Once your flight is completed, and if you chose to retain your checklist with the flight log, you can look at your flight logs here, pull up the record that you want, and review the checklists. And now with Release 2.3, you can revise them if necessary. Checklists you used during your flight have a tick mark beside them. To manage your checklists, simply select Checklists and Procedures from the hamburger menu. The list of currently visible checklists will be displayed. By default, all the standard checklists and any new ones you have added are shown. Drone Pilot Canada comes with 13 standard checklists that meet all the Transport Canada requirements for checklists and procedures. And now you can add as many additional user-created checklists as you wish. User checklists are great for dealing with special drone models or perhaps situations like flying from a boat. Or if you are part of a drone company, your company may have a set of their own specialized checklists that all of their pilots should follow. And by the way, the standard checklists are treated a little differently than the user-created checklists, and I'll explain these differences as I come to them. Drone Pilot Canada offers the ability to show or hide specific checklists as they may apply to you. When accessing checklists during your flight, only the checklists that you choose to display are shown on the screen. Standard checklists are displayed first, followed by your user-defined checklists in alphabetical order. To show or hide a checklist on new flights, tap Show Hide. From this list, just turn off any checklists you don't want to see during the flight operations. Tap it again to turn it back on. Because the selection of which checklists are applicable may vary from person to person, these selections are not shared across a team. In other words, show hide selections are local to each individual device in a team scenario. When you're done selecting the lists, tap View Edit to go back. On the main checklist screen, you can view the contents of a checklist by simply tapping on it. If you want to edit the checklist in order to customize it, select Edit in the top right. Tapping on any row will allow you to choose functions, edit that row, insert a blank row before or after that row, or delete the item. When you are done editing a checklist, tap Done in the top right. You can save or discard your changes, and if this is one of the standard checklists, you can discard all of your customizations and revert back to the original standard checklist if you wish. Back on the main list of checklists, if you want to add a new checklist, tap New Checklist, name your checklist, and hit OK. Your new checklist will appear on the list, and if you're in a team, it will appear on all team devices. You can now edit it, as I described earlier, or you can upload the content from an external file. Yeah, that's cool. If you want to define your checklist externally, it's really simple. The only catch is that the file must be a simple text file with the file extension .txt, with one checklist item per line, like this. So in this case, my simple checklist has 4 items: turn the drone on, turn the remote control on, fly the drone safely, and land the drone. And by the way, I'm using Microsoft Word here to create my file, but you can use whatever you want as long as you can save it as a simple TXT file. Now, if you want to get fancy, you can add header rows into your checklist to differentiate different parts of the checklist. Header rows are identified by prefixing your header text with a greater than sign, like this. Once you're happy with your file, save it as a simple text file, then send it to yourself as an attachment to an email, in the same way as importing documents to Drone Pilot Canada. On your device, tap on the attachment, and on iOS you also need to tap the little upload button in the top right. This is an Android example. Choose Drone Pilot Canada to process the attachment. It will then prompt you to either create a new checklist, in which case you can enter the new checklist name, or update an existing checklist, which I will do. If you choose to update an existing checklist, the entire contents of that checklist will be replaced with your new content from your external file. So I select the checklist I want to update, in this case my checklist, and it's done. And here's what it looks like in the app. Pretty cool. And of course, the updated checklist will be synchronized to all devices in your team if you have set up a team. Back on the main list of checklists, if you want to rename or delete a checklist, perform a long press on the checklist. This will bring up a dialog box where you can rename the checklist or delete it. You're not permitted to delete standard checklists or rename them, but you can hide them, as I mentioned earlier. If you do rename or delete a checklist, this change will be propagated to all devices in your team. One last feature. If you're part of a team, you can also manage your checklists from the Team Data Portal, accessible from www.dronepilotcanada.com. On the Team Data Portal, you can view checklists, rename them, add new ones, and yep, you can upload your text files to update them right here. So there we have it, the all-singing, all-dancing checklist management features of Drone Pilot Canada 2.3. Drone Pilot Canada is available in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. If you haven't already done so, please provide a review on the App Store or Play Store and be sure to give us 5 stars. Thanks for watching and enjoy the new features.